Good morning, everyone, and let's take a look at Before the Flood, a film by Leonardo DiCaprio and with Fisher Stevens. Now the science is clear, the future is not, as you can also see in the poster of the film. This is quite an old film, actually. It was created in 2016, so 4 years old, but maybe there's a newer one soon. Okay, I'd like to go through all the tasks that I set for you. The yellow highlight text is always what I would say to the question. So you can have something totally different. I just want to give you an idea of what this could be like. So first question, briefly describe your view on climate change. Is it caused by human activity? Well, here are some ideas. As I said, they might not be yours. This would have been a discussion in the classroom, and we would have had like probably, I don't know, 27, 37, 45. I don't know how many ideas that you gave to me and that we would have noted. So what I think is that climate change is unstoppable and humans cause too much pollution on the planet. Our climate has changed in the past. It keeps changing. Change is a natural process and the essence of life. So basically, everything keeps changing all the time. We realize this right now because, well, there haven't been any other times where things have been changing so quickly than today. Then some politicians still think that climate change is a hoax and not real, but most free scientists agree that man-made climate change is real, and that is also what the film tells you. Then look at the film poster. What are your thoughts? Well, on the left of the film poster, if we go back to that, you see our current world, what it is like. So we still have the green in the world, but we also have in the background, you have a little, well, there are at least clouds. This could be pollution. This could be just weather. Okay, then you also see here the green water. Well, green is not usually the color of water, we know that, but there's already gray water here, so this might well indicate that there is already pollution. So our current world is still lots of green, looks healthy before the flood. But on the right, we have after the flood. We can see lots of changes here. You can see that this is probably the earth and the ground, and the tree changed its color, and the water is also only gray. So what I noted here is that many areas of the world have changed and keep changing. Fertile land turns into desert. In case you didn't know, fertile is fruchtbar. Flooded areas cause people to escape from their homes, so we have those climate refugees, animals die, and so on and so forth. So we probably would have noted lots of things there too. Okay, before watching the trailer, make sure you know these words. I listed just a few concepts to make sure that we have like the basic things here. There might be more. I just, well, as I said, have the key concepts here. Then, well, climate change, of course, that's the word that's probably appearing most in the film, is a long-term shift in global or regional climate patterns, pattern meaning muster. Often climate change refers specifically to the rising global temperatures from the mid-20th century to present. This does not mean that climate change hasn't happened in the past. It is something that is ongoing, I feel, but the mid-20th century was, well, when people actually noticed that there was climate change. Then we have greenhouse gas emissions. I found that on Britannica, so this is a nice encyclopedia that you can go to. Greenhouse gas is any gas that has the property of absorbing infrared radiation, so you can read all this on your own. Greenhouse gases are just gases that cause this greenhouse effect. You probably all know a greenhouse, in German Treibhaus, that just works because the sun rays come in and can't get out again, so it is warm inside of the house. And this is the same thing that's happening with the Earth. You have the Earth, as you imagine the globe, you have it surrounded by a layer of gas, and then the sun rays can come in but can't leave the planet anymore. So we have heat on the planet, so the planet is warm enough to grow things. Then demonstrations, I don't think I have to explain that. You can read it on your own. Devastation, I just gave you two synonyms, so damage and destruction. And this is a little bit too big. And then we have carbon dioxide or CO2. You probably all know that from chemistry. So this is probably the most well-known gas that we have because we all breathe it. Well, it leaves our mouth in respiration. Okay, then you can read through this. After watching the whole movie, or while watching the whole movie, I asked you to take some notes on the following key issues. So we are talking about fossil fuels here. We're talking about methane gas. We're talking about palm oil, about the geopolitical landscape, about US politics. And that's it, I think. Yep. Okay, so let's go back to fossil fuels. Now, since 1981, it was observed that there's a concentration of carbonic acid, so carbonsäure, and there are increased temperatures in the oceans, and there's a typo here. Um, Then we have deforestation. You probably know that plants absorb CO2. So when deforestation happens, forests can absorb less carbon. So yeah, I mean, obvious what happens then. Then we have methane gas. Methane is about 10 to 12%, as you can read here, of the total greenhouse gas emissions. There's gas missing. So almost all those emissions are from cattle production, so from beef mainly. And you can see, or you heard in the film, that 47% of the land in the United States is used for food production, and almost half of this is used to grow feed for cattle. So basically, lots of land is just used to produce burgers mainly. And then the film also tells you that by replacing beef with chicken in your diet, so whenever you eat a chicken burger instead of a beef burger, you can reduce your carbon emissions by nearly 80%. Then key facts about palm oil. You probably know that palm oil, which is to be found, for example, in Nutella, can also be found in 50% of all packaged goods, like, for example, lipstick or chocolate or cookies. And I'm missing here. Sorry. Ice cream, or cooking oil. So 85% of all palm oil is produced and exported from Indonesia and Malaysia. Now, even if you don't know the region, you probably know that there are rainforests there. The living places or habitats of orangutans, rhinoceros, tigers, and other creatures are destroyed just to get more land for palm oil farming. Sorry. Then, some key facts about the geopolitical landscape. So, the geopolitical landscape means, well, which countries are the ones that emit most greenhouse gases, which countries are the ones that consume most of the energy on the planet. Now, big surprise here, United States far at the front, but China has surpassed the United States here, at least in terms of greenhouse gases. And then we have Russia, like, well, bigger states, but Germany also, like, for example, in the largest consumers of energy. So per person, we are among the top 5. Then, key facts about US politics. In the film, they say that 97% of climate scientists agree that climate change is real, and humans have largely, well, contributed to it and beschleunigen. Those climate scientists who disagree often get large sums by the oil and gas industry. They, I think they named James Inhofe or John Inhofe. I don't remember the first name, but Inhofe is definitely the last name. And he is largely paid by big companies that profit from oil, like, for example, the Coke industry, so the Koch brothers. And yeah, right. You could stop the film there if you want to, and if necessary, take notes. Now, next question 6. Have any of your ideas involving global warming changed because of this film? Now, this answer is really very individual. For about 4 years ago, when I saw the film for the first time, there were many things that I hadn't known before. So, at least from the scientific point of view, I learned a lot. However, I was also moved and, well, at the same time, deeply sad because humans seem to be incapable of living a sustainable and fair life with all the other creatures on the planet. We are really greedy and interested in having more of everything instead of sharing the planet and its resources. So we're more interested, basically, as today we can see, in keeping our economy alive than keeping people alive or the planet alive. But, well, what is the economy without people, without the planet? Anyway, now, question 7. During the movie, we saw countless ways of that our consumption is ruining the environment. What effect on our planet was the most shocking to you? Well, the most shocking, well, hard to decide. I listed 4 facts, like that Greenland will disappear, or that there are still scientists who deny man-made climate change, that the economy is more important than health, that those who cause climate change are not the ones suffering from it. If I had to decide, well, I would probably go for Greenland, but yeah, this is really hard. I mean, you can have anything else there. Then in 8, what climate change solution gave you the most hope for our future? Explain why. So this is not only about yeah, what is most ruining, what is the biggest damage, but also what kind of solutions do we have? Now I think, well, a carbon tax might be the most comprehensive, the most far-reaching solution because it affects everybody, and it really does something for one of our main problems. But the other solutions that the film suggested are good too, at least, well, if everybody takes part. Now, this everybody taking part is, I think, the real problem in this whole process. Then I set one voluntary task. So calculate your own carbon footprint. If you want to go for these websites, you have to know a few things about your home. You have to know if your home is insulated, so isoliert, or if there are other things at home and how much, well, energy they consume and things like that. But you can also guess, you can Google. So try to find out if possible. If not, just ignore it. Okay. Then this is not, the last one is not a voluntary task. It's an assignment that you have to do. You don't have to hand it in if you don't want to, because there were other tasks about globalization in general where you can discuss the pros and cons, and there are other things that you can do. And there will be probably more tasks coming up pretty soon, at least if we keep closing the school. Okay, now this final task is a draft of a letter to Leonardo DiCaprio. So basically, well, writing a statement about the movie. Okay, if you want to do this, send it to me. I'll correct it and send it back. Have a nice day and see you. Well, let's hope we see each other again.